firestorm over the Ground Zero Islamic Center is not just about the sensitivity of the location. Many are also questioning where exactly the funding for this $100 million project will come from, and our next guest wants answers.
Former FBI agent and 9/11 first responder Michael Grimm is running for office in New York's 13th district. We did invite on his opponent, Representative McMahon, the incumbent. He had no response to our request. But good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
It's an important issue we're here to talk about. $100 million is needed for this project, though various accounts say they may have as much as 18,000, as little as 9,000. Here's what the people from Park 51 said about the financing. Quote, "We are pledging to pursue our fundraising campaign in accordance with all applicable laws and regulations. We will refuse assistance from any persons or institutions who are flagged by our security consultants or any government agencies." Does that give you comfort that some of this $100 million will not come from Iran, will not come from Saudi Arabia?
No, to be honest, it doesn't give me much comfort at all. As a former FBI agent, I worked undercover. I specialized at one point in money laundering, and the Middle East is known for having informal underground money transferring operations. Hawala is the name of one of them, for example. And there's no records kept whatsoever. So if you have a friend in a certain country, you can just simply say, hey, give $50,000 to so-and-so and I'll pay you back when I see you. And that literally works over there because under Sharia, which is another problem, there's no interest. So there's often no paperwork. So the Hawala is definitely a problem.
So how will investigators track where the money comes from to build this?
I think it'll be extremely difficult, if not impossible to some extent. Again, remember, when you're holding an investigation, as I have as a special agent, you're only as good as your subpoena power. So sure, if we're dealing with Chase or Citibank here in Manhattan, we serve them with a subpoena, we get bank records. But if you're dealing with Hawala, there are no bank records. Who are you going to subpoena? So that's where the difficulties come in. And you can always use a straw man. You know, if there's a person that's legitimate, so to speak, and has a big business with a ton of money, money can be funneled to that person, and then that person can cut the check. And you'll only be able to subpoena that person's record and never even see the money coming elsewhere.
Very interesting. Now, raising this money in this country amidst this controversy is going to be near impossible. Nancy Pelosi, meanwhile, calling for investigation of the money for the people who are opposing this mosque. How do you feel about that comment from the speaker?
Simply outrageous. In all sincerity, as a 9/11 first responder, it's a visceral reaction. It's infuriating. These people have suffered enough. Yeah, and I said this before, I live in Staten Island. We lost 78 firefighters alone. Brooklyn lost firefighters, police. To say something like that, who should we investigate? The families, the victims?
Deborah Burlingame, right?
Maybe the children growing up without their mothers and fathers. It's really outrageous. So
very quickly, it sounds like you're calling for an investigation into the funding, but from what you've said, it sounds as though it's almost futile to get to the bottom of it.
To some extent it is. That doesn't mean you don't try. There are many times during an investigation, you still have to do the best that you can and hope for the best. You know, in my case, one of the reasons why I went undercover is because some of the schemes that were happening on Wall Street, I was one of the first agents to successfully infiltrate Wall Street. I was posing as a hedge fund manager and a money launderer. And that's why you try to get someone on the inside, and hopefully there will be those that will come forward and say this is going on.
We hope so. Michael Grimm, thanks for being here and shedding some light on this important.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Great talking to you.